What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing great today. Today will be my very first flight with the brand new DJI Neo. I just got the drone yesterday and I managed to activate the drone, charge it up, bind it to my devices, update the firmware on all of the devices, and yeah, today will be my first time flying with it, and I'm going straight to manual mode, to acro mode, and fly in FPV style, because there are so many ways to fly this drone. That's what makes it really interesting for me, but the biggest draw for me is the FPV side of things. So I will try that first, see how nimble the drone feels like, and unfortunately the weather is kind of crap today. It always seems to be the case when I get a new drone and I'm excited to try it out. It's always really cloudy and gloomy, but obviously that's not going to stop me. So I'm currently driving towards the destination, the area where I plan to fly this drone for the very first time. I'm excited to try it out, and I'll share my honest first impressions of the drone as soon as I get there. Let's check it out. Here we have the setup for today. The goggles 3, the RC controller 3 for FPV, and then of course the drone, which is just incredibly tiny. It's even smaller than the remote controller. So the first thing I will do, since I will be flying this drone in FPV in acro mode, is to pop these out of the frame, because I don't want to have extra drag on the drone. It will kind of free up some power from the drone, some speed, some agility. So that's what I plan to do, and then it's time to get it in the air. Now the drone definitely looks a lot more like a small avatar. So now that's done, let's get it in the air, start flying. All right, we are in the air. So for the first battery, of course, I will do a little bit more gentle cruising. I will take a look around and see how the drone feels like, because obviously it's my first time flying with the drone. Now, there's one thing I need to immediately say that I'm noticing, is that the image inside my goggles is kind of shaky for some reason. It's not super smooth, and it's not that similar to what the Avata feels like, for example. It is a little bit more rough, I would say. It feels like I don't have full power, or full transmission power, because it's kind of choppy inside my goggles, which is weird. Because I'm definitely close enough to have full transmission power, and the rates are the stock ones that I'm using, the ones that come with the drone pre-selected. Obviously I'll need to fine-tune them to my taste, because these are a little bit too sensitive as usual. That's always the case with these drones. First time I fly them, they're always a little bit more shaky and more sensitive than I would like. So far it seems fine. Seems like it has plenty of power for cruising, of course. I'm not doing anything crazy yet. Now I have a pop-up that I'm in an enhanced zone, which I need to confirm on my goggles, which is really bad if you're doing something acro style and your hands are occupied. That would have been a big problem. That's the thing I don't like about flying FPV DJI drones, like the Avata, Avata 2, and now the Neo. The fact that you have zones, and just now it seems that the drone fully connected to GPS. Just now it understood that it's close to an authorization zone. I hear some people on bikes nearby, so let's check them out. The quality is actually pretty good. I'm surprised, because from the videos that I've seen, the quality looks kind of subpar, but at least inside the goggles, what I'm seeing looks great. It looks absolutely beautiful. The drone is kind of noisy though. I have to say it is a little bit annoying to fly around myself because I keep hearing this noise that it's not very pleasant, but in terms of being able to control the drone, I think it's fine. It's very, I don't know, enjoyable experience. I might need to adjust the angle of my camera a little bit to maybe 10 degrees, something like that. Let me adjust it to 10. And so far I have zero issues with the signal, which is great. I've heard that the penetration of this drone is super nice. Oh, these guys are actually using this as a trail. Super cool. So they have these jumps here. That's cool. That's really nice. I won't bother them before I talk to them if they want me to film them, but yeah, I see what they're doing, which is nice. Here around the trees, it's very easy to control the drone. Now obviously little gaps will be a little bit harder since the drone is super sensitive, like I said. Maybe I'll try a small gap. Let's try this one. Yep, we did it. We did it. First time hitting a small gap with this drone. And I've been flying for almost 5 minutes and we are at 70% battery, which is great. Let's push it a little bit. Let's see if it can roll. It can definitely roll. I mean, that was not a beautiful sight, but it can definitely roll. And it has the power to recover as long as you have the altitude, because otherwise you might hit the ground. Now people should know that this drone is not made to do flips and rolls and do acro stuff. Usually on small drones like this, they have a lot of drag, they lack power, they have very small props, so you know it's not ideal to use a drone like this for acro stuff. But you can still do it, as long as you don't overdo it. You shouldn't really require too much from the motors, as they're very tiny, very small. But I've been here. If you have been watching my channel, you've probably seen this place before. This is my go-to area for testing out small drones, because we have a lot of obstacles, a lot of trees, a lot of things to go around, and it's perfect for cruising. There are some cars passing by every now and then, which sucks, but still, it's a park and you have plenty of things to go around and cruise around. So this area is something that I like exploring with small drones, and I feel like this drone is pretty good, especially comparing it with other small drones that I've been flying here in this area. It flies great. Now I have this little shakiness inside my goggles, which is really taking away from the experience. It's very annoying, to be fair. I'm not sure if it's due to a setting that I need to turn on or off. I'm using the built-in stabilization, so I don't know if that's something that is just maybe the wind, or I don't know. But it is kind of shaky inside my goggles. Still, I am enjoying flying this drone a lot, and I'm very curious to see how the footage will look like on the computer, because here inside the goggles it's always a completely different story. What you see in the goggles rarely is what you end up with footage-wise on your computer. So you'll be the judge for that. That's why the comments are that important on the videos that I post. So I rely on you to let me know what you think. But I'm not even pushing this drone to 50-60% of throttle. I'm just gently cruising, and like I said, this is my very first battery, so I'm just getting used to the controls and how the drone reacts to my stick commands. Do you think we'll be able to go through here, to this gap? No. No! I didn't commit, so I bailed out. It's better to bail out if you know you will crash. If it's a certain crash, why not just bail and avoid the crash altogether, if possible? If you know you will crash, just avoid it. Well, that's what happened here, or at least didn't happen here, because I crashed into the middle section of this obstacle. But let me get the drone real quick and then we'll continue. Here it is. Just a little bit of dirt on it, but obviously nothing is being done to it. No damage on the drone, of course. These things can definitely take a beating from what I've seen. They're very durable, so no problems with that. I'm just observing if there is anything like any crack or any damage on the props, but seems there isn't anything to worry about, so I can continue flying straight away. Now, I didn't want to make the video super long and boring for you guys, so the rest of the batteries I just flew by myself. I followed the guys on their bikes, the ones that I mentioned earlier in the video, and they were pretty happy to see the Neo in action. And I also tried the new quick shots from the Neo. I was quite pleasantly surprised to see how stable the drone was and how smooth all the quick shots were. I did not expect that, to be fair. So I'm quite happy with that. Now, I would say the biggest complaint that I have as of right now is the choppiness that I got inside my goggles. That really made the whole flying experience a little bit worse, in my opinion. And I think the reason for that is because the drone only flies and records in 4K 30 frames per second. Now, that's the biggest issue, as that kind of makes the signal, the feed in the goggles a little bit choppy. And I didn't like that. Now, of course, I know it's a big difference between the Neo and the Avata 2, but just the flying experience is definitely a lot worse on the Neo with this choppy feed inside the goggles. A way to remedy that would have been to have 4K 60 frames per second, for example, so at least you have more frames inside the goggles to look at, which would render the whole experience a lot smoother. But I guess with a price tag of $199 US, you can't really ask for that. That's probably my biggest complaint as of right now. I don't have anything else negative to say, besides maybe the noise, which is not ideal, to say the least. I didn't like the noise that the Neo makes, but other than that, it flew very smooth, very nice. And I've yet to see the footage, of course, which by now you would have seen. So let me know what you think about it down in the comments. And keep watching the channel, as I will be exploring a lot more, both positive and negative, about this drone. I will keep you updated on my experience with it, and I'm really curious to see the Neo in different scenarios, different situations. So keep watching, so stay subscribed, like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one while we continue to explore DJI Neo.